The Ford 2.0-liter EcoBoost engine made its debut in 2010, stepping forward as the replacement for the naturally aspirated 2.3-liter and 2.5-liter Duratec inline-4 engines that had served reliably but lacked the blend of performance and efficiency modern drivers demanded. Those older Duratec engines were honest workhorses, but they belonged to a pre-downsizing era, one in which power gains typically required adding more cylinders or more displacement. The new EcoBoost was first produced at Ford's Valencia engine plant in Spain, marking the beginning of a global rollout of this more advanced power plant. The engine broke ground by combining turbocharging, direct fuel injection, and twin-independent variable camshaft timing in a single package. On paper, that sounds like a greatest hits album of automotive engineering, but in practice this union was a genuine mechanical milestone. Most engines at the time had one or maybe two of these technologies. Ford engineered them to operate in harmony. Direct injection sprays fuel straight into the combustion chamber with ultra-precise atomization, creating a denser, cooler charge than traditional port injection. That cooler, denser mixture pairs brilliantly with a high-pressure single-scroll low-inertia Borg-Warner turbo that is integrated into a water-cooled exhaust manifold, which forces more air into the combustion chamber without raising the chances of detonation. Then enter the twin-independent variable camshaft timing system. It constantly adjusts both intake and exhaust cam phasing in real time. At low RPM, it leans toward torque and responsiveness that belie the engine's modest size, and at higher RPM, it maximizes breathing efficiency for sharper power delivery. Taken together, this trinity of technologies gave Ford the best of two worlds: strong output with the kind of fuel economy that made regulators smile, while also establishing a reputation for everyday durability. It features a high-pressure open-deck die-cast aluminum cylinder block with cast iron liners and aluminum cylinder head to keep overall weight impressively low while still retaining strength under boost pressure. Internally, it has a forged I-beam connecting rods, cast iron crankshaft, and oil-cooled pistons. The valve train uses a dual overhead camshaft design with 16 valves in total, breathing through 4 valves per cylinder. This combination meant that an engine displacing only 2.0 liters could deliver power and torque once reserved for much larger 6-cylinder units. To put it in perspective, early versions of the 2.0-liter EcoBoost produced around 240 horsepower and 270 pound-feet of torque, levels that used to require a big, naturally aspirated V6. In addition to horsepower and efficiency, this engine also improved drivability in real life. Turbo lag, the bane of many boosted engines of the past, was dramatically reduced by precise computer control of the turbo's wastegate and the fast response of the direct injection system. You got smooth, linear power with a broad torque plateau, which meant fewer downshifts, more relaxed overtaking, and less need to floor the throttle just to get moving briskly. The first generation of the 2.0-liter EcoBoost ran from its 2010 debut through the mid-2010s, and from the start it was intended to cover a wide range of vehicles. In family sedans like the Ford Fusion and European Mondeo, output landed around 240 horsepower and 270 pound-feet of torque. In crossovers such as the Ford Edge, S-Max, and Ford Escape, the same engine was tuned for balance between hauling and efficiency, which translated to towing capacities in the neighborhood of 3,500 pounds when properly equipped. Ford paired the engine with 6-speed automatic transmissions that held up reliably to daily commuting and light trailering. In Australia, the 2.0-liter EcoBoost even found its way into the final generation of the Ford Falcon, showing its flexibility across very different vehicle platforms. By the second generation, which emerged around 2015, the 2.0-liter EcoBoost received a new active wastegate twin-scroll turbocharger. This design improved low-end torque and throttle response by separating exhaust pulses from cylinders 1 and 4 and 2 and 3 to reduce turbo lag. Updates also included revised internals, improved fuel injectors, a redesigned intake manifold, and a higher compression ratio of 10.0 to 1. Power output rose above 250 horsepower, with torque nudging past 275 pound-feet in select applications. Engineers enhanced internal friction reduction and refined turbo response, changes that particularly benefited heavier vehicles like the Ford Edge and the Lincoln MKC. During this period, production was no longer concentrated solely at Ford's Valencia plant in Spain, It was also expanded to Ford's Cleveland engine plant in Ohio, enabling the company to meet growing North American demand. These generation, however, was known to have a design flaw with coolant intrusion, which eventually became the subject of a lawsuit. The root of the issue was in the engine block itself, where a thin slot between the cylinder walls for coolant flow could lead to coolant leakage and head gasket failure over time. This weakness was finally addressed in the 2019 model year, which featured an updated long block design with stronger castings. These generation also broadened its reach, finding a home in newer models like the Ford Maverick, where efficiency was a selling point in the compact pickup market, and the Bronco Badlands, where it proved rugged enough to handle off-road demands while still offering everyday livability. By the 2025 model year, Ford's 2.0-liter EcoBoost went through another wave of major refinements. Now built at the Dearborn engine plant in Michigan, the engine featured a slightly reduced displacement compared to earlier versions. Ford added a dual injection system, combining port and direct fuel injection, for cleaner combustion and improved efficiency. Internally, several components were re-engineered, including a new block, head, crankshaft, pistons, a belt-driven water pump, and a new cast aluminum valve cover. Emissions technology also advanced with the introduction of a gasoline particulate filter in certain markets and a redesigned exhaust gas recirculation system to cut NOx emissions while stabilizing combustion at part load. Power was rated at 238 horsepower and 277 pound-feet of torque, a small drop from the previous generation due to the added emission controls. To maintain precision and consistency, Ford incorporated its modular power cylinder, or MPC technology, for tighter combustion control and manufacturing accuracy. The engine was paired with Ford's latest 8-speed automatic transmission, which not only boosted highway fuel economy, but also provided stronger gearing for towing and everyday drivability. There are also specialized versions of this 2.0-liter EcoBoost. One prime example is the high-output variant reserved for performance-focused models, such as the Ford Focus ST. In the aftermarket world, the 2.0-liter EcoBoost has earned a respectable spot among tuners, though it isn't as legendary as some Japanese Turbo 4s. What makes it attractive is that the factory turbo and internals are already designed to handle boost with durability in mind. The direct injection fuel system and computer controls provide a lot of adjustability through reprogramming, so tuners often first target ECU remaps. With a simple tune, owners frequently see horsepower gains of 30 to 60 and torque increases well over 50 pound-feet without touching hardware. The next step usually involves upgraded intercoolers, freer-flowing exhausts, and in some cases, larger turbochargers for those who really want to push past 350 horsepower. Beyond the sedans, crossovers, and performance cars already mentioned, the 2-liter EcoBoost found its way into several other popular Ford models across different markets. The Ford Explorer adopted the engine around the 2012 model year as its entry-level power plant, offering buyers a smaller displacement alternative to V6 options while still delivering competitive performance for a 3-row SUV. Internationally, the engine appeared in the Ford Kuga starting in 2013, carrying over many of the same calibrations as the Escape, but tailored to European and Asian markets where engine displacement taxes favored 4-cylinder power. The Lincoln MKZ also relied on this engine beginning with the 2013 redesign, where it bridged luxury refinement with efficiency in a segment dominated by larger 6-cylinders. Even Volvo briefly tapped this engine before finalizing their own Drive-E architecture, fitting it into models such as the Volvo S60 around 2011, when Ford still had partial ownership ties. The widespread coolant intrusion issue in the second-generation Ford 2-liter EcoBoost engine stems from a fundamental design flaw in its open-deck engine block. Unlike the more reliable, earlier closed-deck systems that provided a solid sealing surface for the head gasket, the open-deck design features large, narrow coolant channels between the cylinder walls. This leaves a very thin and vulnerable area for the head gasket to seal against under the extreme pressure and heat of a turbocharged engine. This weak point can cause the head gasket to fail prematurely, allowing pressurized coolant to leak directly into the combustion chambers. This coolant intrusion leads to a range of symptoms including engine misfires, white exhaust smoke, and overheating, with the problem often concentrated in cylinders 2 and 3. In the most severe cases, the block itself can even crack. The ultimate solution implemented by Ford and documented across multiple technical service bulletins, was a new, revised engine block that still offered enhanced cooling but replaced the problematic open channels with cross-drilled holes, creating a much stronger and more durable sealing surface to prevent future failures. There was also a class action lawsuit targeted Ford over the engine's vulnerability to those coolant leaks and head cracks, specifically citing 2013 through 2019 Ford Escape, Fusion, Edge, and Lincoln MKZ, MKC, and Nautilus models. Ford eventually opted to extend warranties for the coolant intrusion issues, covering repairs well beyond the standard period, while defending against allegations of negligence. Beyond the coolant intrusion defects, other issues have surfaced over the years that added to the engine's mixed legacy. In high-output applications like the Focus ST, some owners reported timing chain tensioner failure, which led to slack in the chain, erratic valve timing, misfires, and in rare but serious cases, piston-to-valve contact requiring full engine rebuilds. Another persistent problem involved cracking of the exhaust manifold on earlier versions where the manifold was a separate component and not integrated into the cylinder head. Those cracks could lead to exhaust leaks, higher underhood temperatures, and reduced turbo efficiency. Speaking of turbos, turbocharger failures have also been reported, most often tied to the electronic control valve for boost regulation sticking or failing, which caused inconsistent boost pressure and in some cases complete power loss. While Ford addressed several of these issues with updated parts and improved designs in later generations, they serve as reminders that alongside the innovation, some real-world engineering compromises placed heavy demands on these smaller, high-output four-cylinders.